In the dim light of human history, where shadows conceal as much as they reveal, there exists a challenge to every sacred belief, a challenge to the very fabric of what we call morality. Welcome, seeker, to Chronicles of the Mind. Today, we journey deep into the heart of darkness to expose the myth of morality, Nietzsche's truth about good and evil. Prepare yourself, for the revelations ahead are not for the timid, but for those with the courage to question the moral precepts that have long governed our lives. Morality, as we have been taught, is no divine truth, but a construct, a delicate web spun by society to restrain the individual. Nietzsche, that relentless seeker of truth, dared to proclaim that our notions of good and evil are nothing more than tools of control, designed to suppress the fierce and unbridled force of human desire. He argued that traditional morality is a relic of slave mentality, a system created by the weak to keep the strong subdued. There are no moral phenomena at all, but only a moral interpretation of phenomena, he declared, shattering the illusion of absolute virtue. Imagine for a moment that every rule, every dictum about right and wrong, is merely an illusion, a facade crafted to maintain order in a chaotic world. Nietzsche's philosophy beckons us to tear down these moral edifices and confront the raw, unadulterated reality of power and existence. We are invited to see morality not as a beacon of universal truth, but as a mirror reflecting the power dynamics that have shaped empires and continue to mold modern society. Consider the evolutionary roots of our moral instincts. Recent studies in evolutionary psychology reveal that what we deem as moral behavior cooperation, altruism, fairness, originated not from divine decree, but as survival strategies in an unforgiving world. These virtues, while promoting group survival, also serve to restrain the inherent and often overwhelming drive for individual power. Nietzsche would have us see these behaviors as adaptive tools fashioned by the weak to restrain the strong, rather than as immutable truths. Our moral codes, he suggests, are not universal laws, but historical contingencies, a byproduct of human evolution and societal necessity. Reflect now on the dichotomy of master morality versus slave morality. Master morality, as Nietzsche envisions, is born of strength and self-assurance of individuals who dare to forge their own values through the assertion of their will. These are the creators, the innovators, the trailblazers who define their own essence, unconstrained by the opinions of the multitude. In stark contrast, slave morality emerges from resentment, a moral system devised by those who feel powerless, seeking to elevate meekness and subdue ambition. It is in this inversion of values that we find the seeds of mediocrity, as the exceptional are forced to conform to a morality that glorifies weakness and condemns greatness. Turn your mind's eye to the annals of history. Picture the likes of Cesare Borgia, a man whose ambition knew no bounds, whose ruthless pursuit of power reshaped the very contours of the Italian Renaissance. His life was not one of moral virtue in the conventional sense. Instead, it was a calculated dance with danger, a testament to the potency of unrestrained will. Machiavelli, in his seminal work, The Prince, extolled such audacity, urging rulers to cast aside sentimental ties and embrace a more pragmatic, if ruthless, path to power. History, it seems, is not written by the virtuous, but by those who dare to reject the chains of imposed morality. Yet, as we delve into these dark truths, we must not confuse our journey with an endorsement of amorality. Rather, it is an invitation to understand the forces that shape our lives and to reclaim the power to define our own destiny. The insights of Nietzsche do not call us to abandon ethics altogether. They challenge us to recognize that the moral codes handed down to us are not sacrosanct, but are rather the products of historical power struggles. By confronting these ideas, we empower ourselves to construct a morality that is our own, one that is forged in the crucible of personal experience and unyielding determination. In today's digital age, the battle over morality has taken on new dimensions. Social media platforms, with their relentless algorithms and curated feeds, perpetuate a cycle of moral posturing and virtue signaling. Every like, share, and comment is a battleground where our innate desires and fears are manipulated, echoing the ancient conflicts of power. The narratives that dominate our digital world are not necessarily those of pure virtue. They are the ones that stir our passions and challenge our complacency. Here, too, we see Nietzsche's truth, that the constructs of morality are wielded as instruments of influence and control. The psychological underpinnings of this struggle are as ancient as they are profound. Our minds are wired to seek validation, to find patterns that affirm our beliefs, and to gravitate towards narratives that resonate with our deepest longings. This phenomenon, confirmation bias, ensures that we cling to the moral interpretations that have been handed to us, even when they serve only to stifle our true potential. Dark leaders and influencers exploit this natural tendency, weaving stories that align with our fears and desires, promising order and stability in exchange for our allegiance. It is a seductive dance, a dance in which the cost is our freedom to think for ourselves. Scientific inquiry has cast further light on this shadowy realm. Neuroscience tells us that our brains are remarkably plastic, capable of reprogramming beliefs through repeated exposure to certain ideas. This malleability is both a gift and a curse. It allows for growth and transformation, yet it also renders us vulnerable to manipulation. Modern studies have shown that repeated moral narratives can literally rewire our neural pathways, making us more inclined to accept certain truths as self-evident. Nietzsche's challenge, then, is to awaken us to this subtle tyranny, to liberate our minds from the chains of inherited morality, and to embrace the full spectrum of human experience, with all its contradictions and complexities. Consider the great innovators and rebels throughout history, those who were branded immoral by their contemporaries, yet whose legacies are marked by extraordinary achievement. Were they not the ones who dared to question the moral status quo, who forged ahead despite the scorn of a conformist society? Their stories serve as both inspiration and warning. They remind us that greatness often comes at the cost of being misunderstood, of standing alone against the tide of conventional wisdom. Their lives are a testament to the power of redefining morality not as a set of immutable rules, but as a dynamic, ever-evolving force shaped by the individual's will to power. As you listen, allow these thoughts to stir within you. Ask yourself, have I ever accepted a moral truth without question? How many times have I sacrificed my own ambition in the name of societal approval? The challenge before you is not to reject all morality, but to scrutinize it, to question the origins of the values that guide your actions, and to consider whether they serve your highest potential or simply maintain the status quo. In the quiet recesses of your mind, where doubt and desire intertwine, there lies the possibility of a new kind of morality, one that is born from the recognition of our true nature, unshackled by the conventions of the past. This is not a call to abandon ethics, but to forge an ethics that is authentic to your own experience. It is a call to acknowledge that the power to determine what is right or wrong resides not in the hands of tradition, but within each of us. True freedom, then, is the courage to shape your own moral code, to live not by the dictates of others, but by the fierce, unyielding light of your own inner truth. As we stand at the crossroads of thought and action, remember that the journey to self-realization is fraught with peril, but it is also the only path to genuine greatness. The myth of morality is not an indictment of human decency. It is a challenge to rise above the mundane and to embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within. It is a call to transform inherited dogma into a personal doctrine of power, a doctrine that acknowledges the darkness within us all, and yet seeks to harness it in the service of creation rather than destruction. Let this exploration serve as a beacon for those unafraid to traverse the shadowed paths of the mind. Embrace the challenge to redefine what is good and what is evil, not as absolutes imposed from without, but as dynamic forces that you command. In this rebellion against the conventional, you will find not chaos, but a deeper, more profound order, a truth that is as liberating as it is unsettling. If these words resonate with the stirrings of your soul, I invite you to join our inner circle at Chronicles of the Mind. Subscribe, engage with our community, and share your own journey of questioning and self-discovery. Together, we will dismantle the old paradigms and build a new world of thought, one where you are free to define your own morality, to challenge the status quo, and to rise unapologetically into the light of your true potential. In this endless interplay of light and shadow, the struggle for authenticity is eternal. Embrace the dark, not as an enemy, but as a teacher, one that reveals the depths of your strength and the vast expanse of your untapped power. Let the words of Nietzsche echo in your heart as you forge a path that is uniquely your own. Think deep, rise higher.